There's been a strange, almost unsettling change in Kendrick Lamar's aura lately. Something slow and undeniably darker. Not the type of darkness that comes from chaos or anger, but the kind that forms when someone stops running from pressure and starts feeding on it. For years, Kendrick's energy centered around internal battles. The wounds he carried, the fears he inherited, the trauma he had spent decades trying to unpack. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was the peak of that journey, almost a public therapy session where he confronted everything.
He was getting himself together so he could pop back outside.
From family struggles to spiritual confusion. But somewhere between 2022 and now, that version of Kendrick disappeared. And in his place, there's a figure who feels colder, sharper, and more dangerous. Not because he's unhinged, but because he's finally unapologetic. You really start to see this shift when you compare the Kendrick who entered the 2024 rap beef to the one who walked out of it. Before the confrontation, he was introspective, restrained, almost reluctant to unleash the full extent of what he was capable of. But the moment the beef ignited, he snapped into a different form, one rooted in assertion, dominance, and almost biblical righteousness. Analysts compared his 4 diss tracks, Euphoria, 616 in LA, Meet the Grams, and Not Like Us, to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Kendrick ain't got nobody to tell him, look, he took enough of a beating. You good now. Ain't nobody there for him to do that to him, say that to him no more. Now, when he pop back out and he get on you, ain't nobody to pull him off your ass no more, boy. Telling you. So, game, you better watch out. Telling you.
And stated it wasn't just a cute metaphor. Each track delivered a different kind of destruction: psychological, strategic, moral, and cultural. It was the first time Kendrick weaponized religious allegory so directly, using it not as a lens to heal the world, but as a framework to judge it. The man who spent years trying to fix his own soul suddenly redirected that intensity outward. He stopped asking himself what was wrong with him and started forcing everyone else to confront what was wrong with them. What makes this shift even more interesting is how quickly it became a consistent theme instead of a temporary reaction. Artists sometimes change during a beef, but they usually return to their old persona once the moment passes. Kendrick didn't. His features, his tone, the way he carried himself, everything after the conflict kept that darker, colder edge. Look at his collaborations with Playboi Carti and Clips. These weren't random picks or industry favors, they were deliberate choices. Carti's sound is pure chaos, distorted bass, demonic and violent minimalism. And Kendrick stepped into that world with total ease, matching Carti's darkness with an almost eerie calm. It's like he found comfort in the tension. His feature with Clips carried the same energy.
I took it as he was letting it be known, like, bro, I could dive into any kind of genre. Me doing them different voices over all these years, I was molding myself to tap in with anything. I could tap into anything. You could put me with anybody. I'm going shine. That's how I was looking at it.
Cold, precise, morally heavy. Pusha and Malice rap like judgment is a weapon, and Kendrick slotted into that atmosphere effortlessly, as if he'd been sharpening his own blade for years. These features show a clear pattern. Kendrick isn't drawn to warmth right now. He's not chasing brightness, nostalgia, or melodic comfort. He's picking collaborators who sound like the world is ending. The darker the environment, the more at home he seems. But the shift becomes truly undeniable when you look at GNX, the album and tour that dominated 2025. The rollout alone felt different, almost militaristic. It was the kind of rollout you execute only when you're operating with full clarity and zero doubt. And the music reflected that same energy. Kendrick wasn't rapping like someone who's wrestling with his internal demons anymore. He was rapping like someone who had killed them and now understood exactly what he was capable of without them holding him back.
To me, he was rapping like somebody who was fully unleashed. You know what I'm saying? It's like no holds barred. Whatever's whatever. Let's get it.
His verses were more ruthless. His tone was colder. His flows had this calculated sharpness that almost sounded like he was warning the entire industry not to test him again. And the track that captures this new mindset better than anything is Man at the Garden. There's a moment in the song where Kendrick acknowledges that he
y'all know this is my joint. Y'all know that's my joint right there.
Deserves the success he has. But then he adds a chilling line. The more hate and doubts that come my way, the more blood will be spilt. It's not a threat in the literal sense. Kendrick has never been that type of artist. It's symbolic. It means challenge me, push me, question me, and I'll answer with art that cuts deeper, hits harder, and leaves no survivors in the cultural conversation. It's the clearest sign that he's no longer avoiding conflict, he's using it. Even the way Kendrick presents himself publicly now reflects this shift in energy. He doesn't move like someone trying to hide from the noise or heal from wounds. He moves like someone who has already processed everything and is now simply observing. When you see him in interviews, photos, studios, or even candid clips, there's this stillness to him. A quiet that doesn't feel shy or withdrawn, but intentional. He looks like someone who's watching the entire industry from a distance, studying its patterns, understanding its faults, and waiting.
That's why everybody talking about, oh yeah, Kendrick Lamar, he be taking 4 years off. Even Drake said it. But understand, they said something about the eagle, the way the eagle do. The eagle go way up high, he'll go to hibernation. The eagle go chill just to get himself right. But then when he get out, the most deadliest out here, bro. And this is what you see right here.
Waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. The old Kendrick used to disappear because he needed space to rebuild himself. This Kendrick disappears because he doesn't need validation or attention. His silence isn't avoidance, it's dominance in a more subtle form. What's fascinating is how this transformation fits into Kendrick's historical pattern of reinvention. Every era has its own philosophy. Good Kid was about storytelling and survival. To Pimp a Butterfly was about revolution and spirituality. Damn was about pressure and judgment. Mr. Morale was about vulnerability and healing. And now, his energy is shifting into a space that feels mythic.
GNX is about kind of... What's up?
Apocalyptic, even. This isn't a return to the past or a rehash of old themes. It's a new chapter built on everything he has survived. It's rooted in power, self-protection, righteous anger, strategic silence, and a willingness to embrace conflict as fuel rather than as trauma. It's the Kendrick who has finally accepted his place as one of the last untouchable figures in rap. Someone who doesn't need to prove anything, but is more than willing to remind everyone why he sits at the top when the moment calls for it. And that's why this dark shift doesn't feel like an act or a temporary phase. It feels like the next evolution of who Kendrick Lamar is. Not the wounded artist trying to heal. Not the reluctant genius trying to escape expectations. Not the prophet carrying the burden of the world. But a focused, sharpened version of himself who's ready to step back into the light only when he decides the world deserves another chapter. This dark shift isn't about negativity. It's about clarity. It's about a man who's fully aware of his power and...
Y'all see Corey Holcomb? I told y'all, bro, this is why Corey do not play about Kendrick, bro. This is why.
When he decides the world deserves another chapter. This dark shift isn't about negativity. It's about clarity. It's about a man who's fully aware of his power and no longer interested in softening it. And for fans, both old and new, this version of...
Right, exactly. He will not be compromised for nobody. He gonna stand on everything he said.
Kendrick is irresistible because it feels inevitable. It feels earned. It feels like the final form of someone who has survived the wars, internal and external, and come out on the other side with no fear left. Kendrick Lamar has always been evolving, but this time the evolution feels different. It feels heavier, more confident, more dangerous in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And as he steps deeper into this energy, the rest of the industry is going to have to adjust. Because Kendrick isn't just preparing for another artistic era, he's preparing for a takeover built on precision, purpose, and a darkness that doesn't consume him, but strengthens him. And what...
I'm gonna give you an example of the industry having to adjust. Y'all remember the dude Panda. I got bras in Atlanta. he start to rap regular now. He's starting to rap like with regular lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It's no more mumble rap he doing, bro. You gonna start seeing this a whole lot. Like, people gonna start focusing on their lyrics now. He set the precedence for this. Kendrick set the precedence for this. You not coming out and just letting the beat speak for you. No more of that. You gonna actually have to say something out here, boy.
Whether the world is ready or not, this is the Kendrick we're getting. The one forged in conflict. The one who no longer apologizes. The one who embraces the storm instead of running from it. The one who understands that sometimes darkness isn't a weakness, it's a weapon.
But he been unapologetic. He never been running from no storm. You know what I'm saying? He been on it, but now it's like nobody's there to tell him, hey, Kendrick, he had enough. Nah. So I would be mad if you're a rapper, bro. I'd be walking cautiously. I'd be trying to get him to do a feature or something like that. Better try to be his friend. I'm telling you. You bet not say his name. 21 Savage, I don't know what you doing on these podcasts. Game, I don't know what you doing on these mixtapes, boy. But y'all better walk with caution, bro. Tell you. But around this time, if he pop out again, it ain't safe for none of y'all, bro. It ain't gonna be safe. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. This was a dope think piece. This was done by Distora. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Big Kish signing out. Go on, y'all.